So let me start by honoring William Harvey Beaty. William Beaty was the founder and chairman of Springs Farm Ltd, an enterprise that he started in 1949 in Thamesford on 100 acres. By 1994, it had grown to include 60 farms and nearly 9,000 acres, producing hogs, turkeys, chicken, beef cattle, and crops, along with a feed mill, grain elevators, a processing plant, a fertilizing plant, and more. Harvey was renowned for his business acumen, his concern for the environment, his support for supply management, and his generosity towards countless people and organizations. A generosity which continues today through the Irma and Harvey Beaty Endowment Fund. He was always a business person interested in quality and efficiency. The feed mill was built to meet nutrient specifications for all species. The rendering and wastewater treatment plants were built to ensure proper care of the environment. The compost plant developed new markets for nutrient-rich animal waste. The construction, automotive, and fabrication shops also all contributed to the efficient management of a growing enterprise. But there's more. Cold Springs Grain Terminal offered storage capacities for local farmers to improve service and reduce feed costs. Cold Springs Agri-Services, now Sylvite Agri-Services, helped drive down the cost of fertilizer for farmers. Alongside this massive business growth, Harvey was very involved with several agricultural organizations, including the Poultry Products Institute of Canada and the Agricultural Committee for the Economic Council of Canada. He also served as a director on the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, the Poultry Industry Council, the Poultry Industry Conference and Exhibition, the Ontario Egg Producers Marketing Board, and the Ontario Turkey Producers Marketing Board. He was responsible for creating thousands of jobs in Ontario and innovating in the fields of product development, swine and poultry genetics, and production quality. He received numerous awards in recognition of this input, including the Certificate of Merit Medallion from the Government of Canada in 1988, and that same year, the Centennial Gold Medal for Services to Agriculture in Ontario. He was the first patron of the Poultry Industry Centre for Research and Education, and in 1995, he was inducted into the Canadian Agricultural Hall of Fame. Nominated by George P. Campbell, William Harvey Beaty is an excellent addition to the Agricultural Hall of Fame. And I'll now call on Kevin Beaty, his son, to receive this investment and respond. Join me in congratulating William and calling Kevin to the stage. Where's Kevin?
Where's the second?
Excuse me, Keith wasn't able to attend.
Yeah.
And so I did some, oh, sorry, I'm George Campbell. I spent some time working with a chap named John Corr here today. And John went on a membership drive, gave me a call, and asked me if I'd become a member, and he explained to me what the Institute does. I said, give me a minute or two to check out the web. So I checked out the web and I found out that Harvey Beaty had not been put in here, and I just decided that maybe that was a good project for a year. So I got in touch with a chap by the name of Bob Bell, who I discovered later was past president of this organization. Bob Bell hired me to work at Cold Springs Farm when I was 21 years old. He set me at the old Dunville turkey farm. It was an old airport that my father had convinced some people they could grow turkeys inside the hangars. That could be a lifetime story in itself, so I won't go much further. But they moved me to Thamesford in 1975. And from that point on, Harvey challenged me with many different jobs and positions, and he was a real pleasure to work with. He wasn't a man with long-winded, it was pretty short and sweet, but if you had any questions, he would spend extra time with you and explain to you how it would be. So he got me involved with the grain elevators, and then we were having some challenges with hog production. So they asked me to participate in that. and I managed to call on some resources that I'd learned that, you know, there's a lot of people in the industry, in fact, it was in the feed industry at that time, that had outlets for feeder pigs. And, you know, we found out that the more people you get to know in the industry, the more contacts you have, and most people in this industry, they really do try and pull together. And that's what we saw. There's a guy over there, Rob Flack. He's with Master Feeds. My father worked with him. And so I could call on my dad, and the next thing I know, there was Master Feeds or Super Sweet Feeds at the time buying feeder pigs from us. So it's an interesting organization. It's an interesting occupation, agriculture. It's terrific. It's fantastic. My son here, he was educated at Cold Springs Farm. He worked there in the summertime. He worked at Canadian Tire during the wintertime. He went to school, and he ended up in University of Guelph with some help from Tom Cowan, who's a former employee of Cold Springs Farm and Master Feeds, I think. Harvey had a great impact on all kinds of people. And you know, he'd be pretty proud that I'm wearing a blue tie today because of the election that just occurred. And Harvey actually tried to become a candidate in Woodstock, or in Oxford County, in 1975, I think, the year I moved up there. And fortunately for me, he was not accepted. So he spent all his time in Thamesford. So I just the family, Keith sent me a notification yesterday, and he said he wasn't going to be able to make it. And so I said, sure, I'll come. And you know, Harvey treated all of his employees like family. In fact, he never gave us anything. He sold it to us. And he sold shares to us, and he sold them to us at a pretty damn good price. But he appreciated people, and he actually did a lot of things in the community that very few people knew he was doing. He had a great foresight, and the man, he was from Milton, so this is fantastic. Anyway, I don't want to be long-winded here today. I've never been known to be long-winded. I guess I got a little bit of that from Harvey. It was short and sweet. Thank you so much to the board of directors and everybody here for doing this.
Thanks, George. We're going to follow a little procedure, but I'll do that a little bit differently because this is a special circumstance that you're filling in for the Beaty family. So first of all, I want to see observe the citation. Portrait.
That's fantastic. The artist did a fantastic job here because Harvey always had this quaint smile, and you could just see a little bit of a giggle there.
George, stand.